So this is gonna be interesting. I'm recording this live, but I'm recording it without an audience to try something new. Oh, okay. So I'm recording this live, trying it without a real live audience, so because I want to try something new. So today is a very interesting day. I'm trying a brand new format to talk about 博君一笑. And so I've held off to make a video for a really long time. But these two people just have too much candy and it's hard to wait. So I guess where should I start? The glasses are a little confusing. So where should I start? So the new format is important because I got a lot of problems from this platform to show content, even though a lot of people do it, but I'm not big enough to do it. So definitely watch my videos, subscribe, like. It's gonna help me be bigger, and hopefully I can show these videos. I was very inspired by this guy, Author TV. What he did was he basically goes for subscribers and don't worry so much about the videos themselves. I think that's a really good way. So I just focus on you guys now. I want to focus on Japan. As always, I really have a lot of things to show you from Japan. And then I also want to focus on Bojinxia Candies, because I want to focus on Candies. I'm just going to call it Candies from now because it is so epic. It just keeps getting better. I know Ventus has been doing all these Twitter updates. I can't even keep up, but I think I keep finding weird candies, like one-of-a-kind candies that I think you have to be kind of crazy to notice. So that's what I'm going to cover today. So I'm going to include a Buy Me Coffee link below. So you feel like buying me a coffee, because unfortunately my videos are not earning anything right now. But subscribe, like, and that's going to help comment. And so I'm going to talk about quite a few reactions. And when I talk about it, it's just going to be me talking about it here, because this platform criticized me for not having original content. But I'm going to tweet out on my Twitter, which is Anime Unagi, all the evidence and exhibits for each one. And I'll try to post them below too, to, just point you to it. Anyway, so I found this picture a while back of, I meant to do a video about the game that Xiaozhan represented, which is called 笑傲江湖. It's a very classical wuxia novel turned into game. It's very well anticipated, and Xiaozhan, as you know, was perfect. This was before Untamed came out, so that was a really good time. It was a really good time to, it was a really good time to be the best person there is. So, that was pretty cool. And I found this gem, this Easter egg. So I was looking at this photo. I was just suddenly thought about this game because I recorded halfway through COVID-19, and my grandma, right after my grandma passed away, I was kind of pretty stressed, and I recorded me playing this game. And I would love to share the clips, and that's what I'm going to share today. And then I went back. I was just going to grab some cover photo for you guys before I send it out, before I share it on Twitter. And then I saw this first illustration does not look like Xiaozhan at all on Weibo, on Sina's Chinese Twitter, basically. I was like, oh my God, it looks like Wang Yibo. It looks like Didi. Okay, I'm just going to focus on, it looks like Didi. And I was like, wait, what? It's so that's exhibit A or 01 for today. This poster for Google somehow has Didi on it. I might be crazy seeing things, but I'm just like, oh, that's weird. And obviously recently Ventus has been tweeting out some Didi speaking almost perfect Sichuanese. I was shocked. I was so excited when I heard the Citronese. I was like, are you kidding me? It's like better than all the hop hop video I've ever made. It doesn't even matter anymore. It's like you're speaking Citronese now. That was good. And some of the words he used, the pronunciation's perfect. You can't, it's hard to be that good because the language is a little strange. The tonal stuff is a little strange. Obviously, Didi's very talented being in Korea and stuff. Oh, that was really cool. So I thought that was really interesting. What else? Okay, so like, I think I haven't made a video for a while, but there were just so many random things accumulating. So somehow Google made a game represented a game, and Didi was on the poster. I mean, like, these people must know what they're doing, right? Anyway, so that was kind of interesting. But this was during Untamed, like almost like during Untamed, right after Untamed. I'm not very good compared to Ventus about the timeline and down to the T about each time, so I may not be that good. Okay, so what else? So if you watch the street dance show that Didi was in, the very girly Chinese guy Xiaobao, when he was like teasing Didi, and Didi like totally scared him with like extra better tease, and Xiaobao, who was obviously more androgynous and more LGBT, I would say, backed off like crazy. But somehow Didi could even scare him, which is unthinkable. I think Xiaobao probably makes more Asian Americans and Asians nervous. But somehow Didi was able to just show he's so cool, he's not afraid, he's so used to this. It's pretty unusual reaction. But then there was something detailed to notice over there too, because if you look closely, the dance Xiaobao did, even though Xiaobao was not on Didi's team, somehow he did a dance in a collaboration with a dance instructor. And in the dance, they worn the outfit from this game that Guga represented. It's like, I'm like, oh, you wear the game to kind of like get on Didi's good side, and then you try to flirt with him on stage. Yeah, of course, it's for effect. Of course, as everyone at that time, I think the mentality is everyone already know Didi is very popular. So I think Xiaobao just did that on purpose. But like, why, Xiaobao? Why are you like choosing this particular, why are you choosing this particular why are you choosing this particular costume? Like the Xiao Jianghu, the rendition has been done many, many times, which I'm actually really excited. I have made records and have really enjoyed interacting with Xiao Zhan's avatar in this game. So I'd love to make another video and talk more about it. And let me know, comment on my thing. Let me know if you're interested. I know it's like not 北京一笑, but hey, or 北京有雪是真的. I know it's not 北京有雪是真的, but I just learned this from Ventus Twitter. It's like hilarious. So, I know it's not 北京有雪是真的, but it's and Xiao Zhan is an amazing person. I'm kind of excited he's coming back to the scene. I really liked him. I think he's very good looking. So, yeah, I would love to make a video about how he interacted in the game. It was really cool. Where was I? So I was talking about, I just felt like it's kind of weird. This is a very popular novel. They did so many renditions of it, but somehow Xiaobao is like choosing this rendition and wearing, obviously, the dance lead, the key dancer was wearing Ling Hu Chong, which is Xiao Zhan's character. I was like, oh, you guys know how to want to make Didi like you. But I don't think it worked very well. But it was pretty funny when Didi showed him off. Like it totally scared Xiaobao, made Xiaobao back off the stage. Anyway, so and then like two things that became very interesting. And so I felt like they were like somehow this show that Didi is in was promoting something that Google was supposed to advertise for, but due to all this history, all these recent breaks, he couldn't. He couldn't have not delivered his full contract. I think it's kind of helping out a little bit, just like as the other popular guy. But you don't usually see this, right? Like celebrities are usually competitors. Why would one celebrity help another? It feels like this show obviously is taking advantage of how popular Didi is, and somehow it's promoting what Google does. So anyway, I might be reading too much into this once again, but somehow candies keep happening. It's weird. It's like these are not like as good as Ventus's candy. These are like you turn 3 turns, then you find the candy. Anyway, so what else? So about songs was kind of interesting. I think I mentioned on Twitter. I was pretty busy recently with work. So on Twitter, I mentioned this before. I think the song was like the brightest star in the night sky. Wow, that's a relatively old school song and it fits with Google more, and it's not so much in Didi's normal style. And we also, so that's very special, right? Like on 天天向上, they also mentioned that this song was somehow suddenly representing Didi, which is totally out of the blue, ridiculous, but awesome. I feel like it's more like Google's style. All the singing shows that Google participated, it's totally that style. So, so that's interesting. Suddenly talking about the brightest star in the night sky. And then, what else? So that was I mentioned, I think, in Twitter, that song is actually quite emotional. If you look at the lyrics, it's about going through hardship and kind of having this one person who stood the brightest star in the night sky, being there for me. I can survive this darkness because of you. Yeah, like, I mean, when Xiao Zhan debuted with Wajijwa, which is a weird company name, but I mean, produce a lot of really good-looking guys. So it's like really the engine behind C-pop right now. And so when Google debuted with this company, I think Google definitely sang this song. So I as I said, it's very him. And obviously, when he come back to the fame with this song, I think it's very meaningful. And then they made sure on the stage it was just him to show that he's coming back, he's accepted, and all this great exciting thing. So really, congrats! I'm really happy for him. I think it's so good. He's a very positive energy, so I really like him. And so basically, he came back with this song, and suddenly Tian Xian is talking about it, which is like it's kind of funny, but it's very meaningful, right? I think during this tough time, I think Google definitely suffered more. You can see he got a little scrawny, and it's a lot of suffering, even though his studio keeps saying it's okay, and then feels like Didi obviously mentioned right away that Google's gonna perform, or like kind of infer that he's gonna perform. So it's very supportive. So that was kind of interesting. There's a song that represents them now. But if you remember, one of the earlier Candy was like, Didi immediately named the song that represents Google, which is, I think, Nanhai. I didn't know that song too well, but it's like kind of like, it was more about like this person being very capable, very interesting, and obviously kind of like a big boy. And then Google said it back to Didi is like, the song that I think about you after thinking. So we were like, oh my God, Didi, like just answer that right away. Oh my God, like he's been thinking about this. And then Gugu, when he answered, he hesitated and he thought about it, then he answered. And he said 年少有为, which is like kind of like young prodigy, young success, I succeed at a young age. And then we all forgot about him. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, Didi's very successful. But then and then I came around with that song in the kind of emo setting, and I'm like, oh, and I realized that song is quite emo. That song is not about pure success. It's actually about, I wish I'm more successful when I was young, and I'm not so pessimistic and self-doubting, so I can sort of be there for you. I can be better for you. So it's actually kind of like, it's another like Gugu song, you know, it's like kind of emo, more mature, kind of slightly older than Didi's age and Didi's style. You know, Didi is like that kind of like street dancer. It's like, he's pretty energetic. So he would not sing this song like I wish I didn't have self-doubt and be there for you, that kind of thing. So I shared the lyrics again. So I kind of went back. I was like, oh my God, this is like a whole different thing. Everything's like different. Like there's a lot of things are different. So that's one more thing that I found that was really interesting. Okay, so what's coming up? This is a fairly long video because I think it's kind of interesting. There's no content other than me talking, and you have to find each of this thing I talked about on Twitter. So sorry about that, but it'll be fun. And my Buy Me Coffee link is below, and there's also a link to contact me. So I'm curious what you want to tell me about these reaction videos. And I want to do reaction to Didi speaking Sichuanese because I think his Sichuanese is very good. And I'm seriously thinking, what kind of guy speaks such great Sichuanese just suddenly? It's so random. And, you know, like I know he has friends in 天天向上 who speak Sichuanese or from Chongqing or have loved ones from Chongqing, but it seems sudden, and it was really good. You know, it's like you date a boyfriend who's French and suddenly your French gets really well. That was really high pitched. Anyway, so that was kind of interesting. And then I would love to do a video on Xiaozhan's game because it's actually really well done, really thoughtful towards his fans. He's a great guy. I'm really happy to have him back. Oh, one last thing I want to talk about is like NPR did a special Untamed and the shenanigans about it. I think some people say it's you know, it's too intense and it's hard to read. I agree. I'm not really interested in talking about the intense part. But I think what's really funny, if you notice, is that I think the correspondent in China who wrote this article and contributed greatly to this article, I have a link in my Twitter about this article. Don't you think she like is a fan? Like she reads this really well, and then she contributed really well. So she was describing the scene between Gugu and Didi in the Xuanwu Dong, in the cave, where he had to save Didi by you know, making Didi puke out the blood. So she described it really well. Like it seems like someone who has read this and understood it, and not just like a journalist writing about this. So my point of view is that Untamed fans are everywhere. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of a lot of things, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. But this is definitely a phenomenal force. I'm so crazily excited about the fan power in this situation. So I thought it was really interesting. And obviously, as we're seeing more videos on Ventus Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of the staff members joke about Gugu and Didi all the time. So phenomenal. It's kind of, I mean, like you guys talk about it. The comment section is very active in the previous videos, and people are wishing them well. People are being polite, and asking great questions about what's happening. And I think it's a different culture, different country. There's a lot of complicated things we don't understand. But one thing I've seen is like the fan power is very powerful. I feel like the fact that Xiao Zhan has international fans and who all perceive him as a very positive force, very nice person, in almost every country and every age group, right? I think it's starting to bring a little more interesting changes in the entertainment industry in China. And I think it's really positive. I think the fact that he is rated number one in Pan Asia ranking, better than any Korean pop stars and J-pop stars, and it has never really happened. I think Chinese celebrities have been on top all the time, and a lot of times we get the elderly guys like the George Clooney of China on a really sexy, more mature man, and we never really have this like kind of like Guga and Didi taking the first spot and third spot, and we have to keep in mind the second spot is like K-pop. It's like insane. It's like the best, but then these two people are quite on top now. So I think this kind of international support is gonna keep things really positive. I'm just very optimistic about it. I think it's a different culture, different place, and things are done differently. I'm optimistic. I think Guga's gonna do really well for a very long time, and I really hope they stay friends and perhaps stay more than friends for a very long time.